You're listening to For Better and Worse with Jess and Rach.
I don't know. Well, first of all, I had anxiety because I had my headphones in and I went to pee and I'm like, yo, what microphone are we using? Are they listening to me pee right now?
Hey, I had the same thing. I was like, dude, Jerry's listening to me pee, and then heard the wipe. And the wipe is what got me. I got like hot underarms, and I was like,
how loud of a wiper are you?
Yeah, what is?
I don't know. I just felt like that was more
Jess?
embarrassing than the tinkle for some reason. I got more embarrassed.
Oh my God, it's like we were at a club together.
I know. Yeah, that feels
Don't
good.
you miss drunk girls in bathrooms? Like, I don't miss the getting drunk. I don't miss the groping. I miss the drunk girls giving advice in the bathroom.
Yeah.
The girl.
Woman
don't
empowerment.
worry about it.
Hey, that's me. You
Hey.
know I'm like,
Don't worry about it.
You're beautiful.
Hey.
If no one's told you today, I tell you, you're beautiful.
If he doesn't appreciate you now, he won't appreciate you later.
how about this, girl? Just leave. Get the fuck out then. If he doesn't appreciate, we're leaving.
We're getting out of here.
Here, you're coming with us now. You're with us. She's coming with us.
She's with us now.
I'll never forget. I'll never forget being a drunk girl out at the club with my friends, and I was smoking cigarettes, and one of my friends.
I've never smoked a
didn't-
cigarette.
Okay, you're such a loser, Jerry.
No, you're not. Be proud of that. Seriously.
But I was like drunkenly dropped my cigarette, had it on her thigh for a good 5 seconds before she was like, "Hey, hey, I think you just burned me." I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta sober the fuck up. I'm burning my friends, branding them.
Did I burn you or did I brand you? Come on. Let's change our state of mind here.
Be a part of the
Reframe it.
club." Okay, so Q&A time. Jess,
go?
Jess wants to just man this interview. Hey,
I love this interview.
this is gonna be my favorite episode of all time.
Me
for
too.
real.
I just feel like
So,
when
Jerry,
you
are you
have-
looking for another podcast?
when you have casual convo with a mom, it's like, how are things? How are the kids? It's casual. It's like not this deep. And so I really appreciate it because it's not casual convo. It's not the small talk.
I don't
and hate small
accept
talk.
casual convo in my life.
And that's why we're soulmates from afar virtually.
I have literal friends who will walk into my house and they will just immediately start crying. Like, just click clack. Do you want to say hello?
Mosby, my sweet
Stop.
boy.
We interrupt this production.
For the sweet boy, Mosby.
For click clack. Yeah, I have friends who will walk into the house and immediately start crying, and they're like, "I haven't talked to anybody about this because all the other moms just want to talk about cookies." And I'm like, honey, not here.
Yeah, it's good.
don't
I
talk
love
about
that you
cookies
invite
here.
that
But
environment.
this bitch be making cookies. I saw you making cookies
I
today.
know. You do it. You really do it all. But
Oh, but let me know. I knew
But she
Jerry.
ain't- she ain't not struggling.
I knew Jerry before she ever turned on her fucking oven. Okay.
Truly, honestly, I still don't cook. Shane makes all of the meals. But I started baking because I needed to keep Ollie's little toddler hands busy, and I'm like, here, just. But now he just keeps fisting flour into his mouth. Fisting flour is probably not a good phrase, but whatever. Do with that what you will.
Hopefully, it's not a
Do
premonition
that with you.
for college for him.
Okay, I'm shooting off questions. Okay, so how did having kids affect you and Shane's relationship? And what do you guys do to stay connected?
So I think the biggest thing is like time. Honestly, we don't have as much time together. Shane and I think we do have something that works in our favor is the fact that we were long distance for like 2.5 years of our relationship. So we're used to not spending tons of time together. But I don't know. He just like will send me songs randomly. And sometimes we'll do like planned date nights, but we like to go on walks together because if the kids are in the stroller, then they're not talking to us. And we can have a conversation. And sometimes the one thing that he enjoys to do is he likes to come up with like games. He will make regular games into like sex games.
Tell me more. Tell me more about this. Keep going.
I'm talking like one time he Googled like how like Yahtzee but make it sexy. And I can't give you all the details.
Fun though. Oh my God.
We put like blue Christmas lights in our room, and then we put on literally like vibey Spotify playlists. That's what it was titled.
Setting
And
the
then-
mood.
He like will spend time making like a card game. It'll be like a poker type situation, but all the hands have like sexual things attached
How
to them.
fun.
And we play like strip
Shane.
poker and stuff.
That is so
I
cool.
know. He's
I
a
love
saucy
that.
little guy.
Do you guys play games regularly? Like games are a fun thing for you guys? No,
We don't play games unless they're sexual.
Just a means for intercourse.
yes,
Honestly,
okay.
means to an end.
Sometimes we get babysit. Well, before the pandemic, we would get babysitters to take like saucy photos together. He's the only
Wait.
person who's ever taken boudoir photos of me. He has so much fun doing it. It is.
I
like,
just need to clarify
Does
what
he
you just
direct
said
you?
because
yeah.
you said babysitters to take saucy photos together. What she means is she would get a babysitter
Yeah.
and her and
Yes.
Shane would take saucy photos together. They didn't
Yes.
hire preteen
How
children.
fun. That's a cool idea.
I was like, there was not enough break in the conversation.
yeah.
Oh, I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was like more on the boudoir.
Yeah,
with
well,
the-
Yeah.
we knew where it was going because
Oh,
We remodeled our house that we bought. And so one day we asked my parents, I was like, hey, can you watch Ollie for a little bit so that Shane and I could like work on the house? We were working in the house.
hey, you can work from home.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And that's how Forrest was conceived. No, I'm kidding. He might
Oh
have
my
been
gosh.
conceived at a Styx concert. We did like going to like concerts and stuff when that was a thing.
that's out of an Adam Sandler movie.
Stand this.
Honestly. Yeah.
Did you feel like, was there any moment when you and Shane were becoming parents that you had to like sit down and be like, let's get on the same page here? Because I feel like it's
No.
so common for like couples to be like, yeah, we're on the same page.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
on the same page. And then your actions are going in separate ways. And you're like, I don't think we're on the same page.
So there'll be some times that like, well, we've kind of just established this thing where if we start to feel like roommates, we tell each other like, hey, I'm feeling like we're just getting into a cycle here. And then he's like, don't worry. Yahtzee.
Yeah, Yahtzee. I got Yahtzee planned for tonight.
Yeah, don't you
I'm
worry.
pulling out
Don't you worry.
Yahtzee.
But we'll do like the occasional paint by number. We will tell each other like if we've gotten too much into parent mode and we've been too disconnected from one another, we will literally just say like I miss you while we're laying next to each other, just to let the other one know like, hey, I know that even though we're close, the circumstances of life has made us feel distant. So like let's do something about that.
Oh, I love that. Good.
Have you felt it's been particularly hard this year?
Oh
to, like,
yeah.
create space and, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really, and that's why I think he really started amping up the games because we don't have much alone time and we haven't had an opportunity to go away together somewhere. So, yeah, we've had to get creative.
That
Good for
is
you,
so
babe.
good though. I love
Good for
that.
you, babe.
Okay, I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
How does your family do screen time?
So, we use it really, really sparingly, like maybe 20 minutes every couple days. So, I found for myself and my kids that when they watched a lot of TV, and by they I mean Ollie, because Forrest is just kind of like blobbing out right now. But
Don't talk about
Ollie-
my kid that way. He's more than a
Listen,
blob. He's a goddamn treasure.
that child is medicine. He is literal medicine. When I am losing my mind, he smiles at me and I'm like, God damn it. What was that?
You
Friggin-
cured me.
What kind of pill did you just...
It's just a
Anyway.
male version of
Kind of
Jerry. It's just a
sorcery.
baby boy version of Jerry. This is a goddamn
is-
treat. I can't wait to have a conversation with him. Oh my God. I love him so much.
He's going to be so wise, I think. What was I answering?
Screen time.
Oh, screen time. So when Ollie was watching a lot of TV, he had really big emotions. He was not sleeping very well. And I know, like, I'm not saying really big emotions in a way that I'm like, I'm so tired of listening to you whine. I know that when I'm having a big emotion, it doesn't feel good. So I can imagine if he's going through that cycle of a tantrum frequently, he's not feeling good. He's having needs that aren't being met. And I can imagine it's because all he's doing is sitting in front of the TV. I also don't know how what he's seeing is being ingested and how that's more like being manifesting processed in his mind. Sure. Yeah. So I have no self-control. And I know this about myself. If the TV is up in our house, I will use it. I will use it to babysit my child because mommy needs a minute.
Yeah.
So I ended up having Shane take the TV down because I know if it's up, I will overuse it.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not good for Ollie. So we will occasionally, he'll ask to watch a video. There's like a couple mom vloggers that they're like virtual play dates. That's how I use it he can watch a couple families on YouTube to have a virtual play date because he's had like no social interaction. Like tonight before bed, he was going, Theo, because that's one of the kids he watches. Aww. I was like, tomorrow you can play with Theo on the iPad.
On the iPad.
Or we'll use the iPad.
Quarantine kids.
I know. Or we'll use the iPad for like, I have the app Procreate and he will color. Or I'll like do a matching game where he has to like erase it and find different, like a word search type thing, but with pictures. So
I mean, I honestly think overstimulation is obviously what our generation struggles with because we didn't have like we had dial-up, right? We lived in this weird world of like, we had to kind of wait for technology.
Hey, we had to work for it.
But like we were still like as preteens, high school, like we were constantly being bombarded with information in a way that like I don't know. I wouldn't know how to navigate that. And I think our parents didn't grow up with it. So they were like, this is just what you have, right?
Yeah.
This is just what you have
And
now.
they didn't know what the cause was going to be. They didn't know the effect of it because it was like, this is all new. And so now we recognize, maybe it's too much.
Yeah.
We're going to have to reel that back a little bit.
And that's what we're finding in young kids who have this screen time and moms are being like, oh no, they're terrors after. And we're wondering why. It's like, it's easy in the moment. And like, if they want it, we can let that like stimulation for a short amount of time, but we're monitoring it from now on.
Right.
Because whereas in the autism community, it was like, that's what you need, dude. Like the iPad. A fixation, a perseveration, an obsession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you say to people that are like...
Any mom who needs it, like...
Take it.
If you are not going to be able to handle and get through a day without it, use it. Because your mental health, your ability to be a present, happy, sane mom will always take priority over whatever the internet is telling you is best for your kid.
Yeah.
Because what's best for your kid is you to be at your best.
Big takeaway. Big TikTok moment right there. I just felt it in my heart.
No, because I was literally going to ask what would you say to someone who's like, that's just not a part of, like, say they have a 5-year-old. That's just not a part of their parenting structure,
Yeah.
So, I think that was good for you to say, like.
What works for me, what works for someone else is not going to work for your family.
Right.
You know what's best for your family. Do that. Do not feel pressured by anyone else to change what works in your household because it's like the new hot thing being hashtagged,
And I've even like from like on TikTok and whatnot, I've seen that like certain shows, like even the frequency of like voices can trigger some kids, like colors that are used can trigger some kids. Like these people that create television shows are not there to enrich your child's life. They're there to make money. So it's like be selective in the shows that you choose for your kids to watch and just be aware. Like some shows will trigger your kids and like really hyperstimulate them to the point where they can't regulate their emotions at all. And some shows might be fine. Like I wonder if kids can watch shows in black and white, what that would do for them.
Well, here's the other thing too, is that whenever literally the most wild thing to me is like a newborn baby, everything is brand fucking new. Everything. So like, and their vision is improving every single day. So like shit's getting more in focus. And so it's like new again every day. So like that in itself can be overstimulating. So if you have a baby in this like play gym with lots of lights and lots of colors and all this shit, can you imagine that being your first experience into the world? We are, at least, you know, from what my understanding is, you are trying to help your kid develop an attention span. And if you are giving them toys or using screen time, their attention span is like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next.
Yeah.
But if you give them something that they have to focus on for a long period of time to kind of manipulate and figure out, what you're doing is creating a longer attention span in that kid. Don't interrupt them. That's another thing is like if Ollie is doing something and someone's like, hey, Ollie, hey, Ollie, hey, Ollie. I'm like, shh, shh, shh. You ever have someone come up to you when you're in the middle of something and saying your name a million times? How does that annoy you? Just because whatever he's doing isn't a big deal to you doesn't mean it's not a big thing for him. So please leave him alone.
Yeah. Let him live.
He's building an attention span.
Okay, I have an off-script question. Just kind of came to my mind. Just like with all the information being pumped out, like our parents did the best that we can. Our grandparents did the best that they can with this little
I thought you were going to say the bare minimum.
No. The best that they can with the knowledge that they had. And now we have access to the most, right?
Right.
With like crazy moms, neutral moms, chill moms, and all of these blogs. How do you navigate that and finding the best way to parent your child?
I think you figure out what feels right to you. Because if it feels
like
wrong, oh yeah, if it feels wrong to do, it's wrong to do. So like we are not cry it out people. This is also just science. Like a baby cannot tell the difference between day and night until like 6 to 8 weeks. So you trying to let your newborn cry it out for over an hour, all you're doing is teaching them that no one's coming for them. And if it feels wrong for you to let your baby cry, it's because it is. So, I mean, eventually we got to a point where it is important to teach your baby how to self-soothe. And so we would like set a timer for a minute. And if after a minute he wasn't soothing, we'd go in. And when it felt right to extend that to 3 minutes, we'd go a little bit longer and then to 10. And then now sometimes in the middle of the night, Ollie will wake up and he'll put himself right back to sleep. Mm-hmm. So it's just about, does this work for you and does this work for your family? And if it doesn't, don't feel like it has to be a part of you just because it's whatever people are doing. Because whatever works for one person is not going to work for you. It's the same with health. It's the same with mental health. It's the same with like exercise.
Right.
Don't diet. But like, you know, it's just going to be all variables and take it as you need it.
That's good.
This is another off-script question that I thought of.
We're just going rogue on these.
Q&A.
I know. I feel like I'm in the hot seat.
Oh my God. No, Jerry, you're doing great. You're doing great.
No, it's
These
just
are
because
so
I'm
good.
hot, I think.
It's the wine.
But where did you
the
get
wine.
that shirt? Because I would like a link to that as well. It's a Target.
Link the pooper scooper as well as your shirt.
The shirt is from somewhere where I'm not proud that I bought it from because
Route
it's not good
21.
for the planet,
Walmart.
and they're like, huh?
Route 21.
No,
21. Something around Route 21.
That's from Shein.
Oh, that's fine.
That's okay.
We're all fucking whatever. We all drive cars. I don't know.
Do better, Shein.
Yeah.
But like, thank you. They like
But
the sweater
also,
a lot.
but what would your advice be from like having one kid to 2 kids? Like I know like your second kid is like a potato, but like
a blob,
albeit a great potato.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like your decision to go from, okay, we've got 1 kid. We want to add to our family. What was the like, what do you feel like a healthy mindset?
It was Yahtzee. Say it was Yahtzee.
It was a whole big whoopsie doodle on my part.
But in hindsight, 2020, baby, what would your advice be to someone like me if I wanted to have 2 children?
So here's the thing. Whenever we had Ollie, we were like, I think we're good. Like, he rocks. We know we like made it to like completion at least one time, which was a huge feat for us. And I was like, I don't know if we need to have any more, because in my mind, like I had mentioned earlier, I really wanted to go this route, and I felt like becoming a mom kind of deterred me from achieving what I wanted to achieve in a more timely manner. Because let's face it, no one is going to be hiring me as a 60-year-old, 50-year-old photographer, okay? There is a time limit on certain jobs,
right?
Especially in the creative space. There just is.
Yeah.
So I felt like I'm in my freaking prime for this, but I'm also in my prime for this. So what the fuck do I do? And so Shane and I were like, we don't know if we want to have another kid. I think we're good with Ollie, because we did the math and we're like, we'll still be in our 40s when he graduates. That's plenty of time to still be like, we won't need a hip replacement for like a good bit of time. That's great. So we got accidentally pregnant with Forrest, but we had decided like that after Ollie was a certain age, I think if you are at a point where you feel you have spent an adequate enough time with the family that you have, because there are moments where I look at Ollie and I'm like, dang, I wish you had more of my individual attention. Yeah. I wish you had a different version of me. I don't like that your experience as an only child and an oldest child looks like this or got cut short. So I wish that I would have, planned it a little better. But God damn it, if you've ever listened to Styx, they're incredibly arousing. And hotels just have a way about them.
They do.
So I don't know.
You don't have to change the sheets.
No, I know.
Crisp.
Well, I hope someone does.
Don't get a black light in there, but they seem clean.
But they smell like bleach, so that's enough for me.
They're just spraying Clorox in the room.
And that's what turns me on. Okay?
That's what does it.
That's what does it for me.
Yes.
Okay, let's do okay, so this was kind of a two-parter. Did you have any fears about miscarriage? But how did you get over your fears of miscarriage?
Or did you ever?
No, I didn't.
How would you realistically work through them?
So what I'll say, the advice that I always give, because I have a lot of people who've come to me after miscarriages and want to process it. After a miscarriage, one of the most frustrating things that people would say was, like, when are you going to try again? And our response was always, when we're ready to lose again. So
Ooh.
I'm not going to put my physical and mental health through this absolute fucking shit show of a roller coaster until I feel like I'll survive it. And right now I don't know that I will. So I know that people can feel this pressure from outside sources, like they're responsible for providing someone else with a grandkid or a niece or a nephew or just like a cute kid to like on Facebook. But like, you are not obligated to provide anyone else with entertainment.
Yeah.
You are not a zoo person. So like, you're not a creature at a zoo that people get to go look at and leave because they're not sitting there holding your hand when you're crying. So I think it's just processing all of those emotions. And
Jess, do you feel that stress right now? Do you feel like...
No, I feel like I'm in therapy. So when I'm in therapy, when Yesenia, my therapist, tells me things, I write them down.
Yeah.
Like moments, like these big moments for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll write them down. And Jeri's saying these things, and I'm like, where's my pen?
It's right there.
It feels so strong. It feels so powerful. So, woo.
Thanks.
I literally have just been staring at your picture like, she's my friend.
Yes.
In real life. Oh my God.
Will you please put Mr. Feeney music behind me, like at the end of the episode when the lesson is happening?
Yes. I love that that's who you want to identify with. Because it's
for
very
sure.
much so you are so wise. And you say Forrest is going to be wise. And I very much hope so because he would get it from you.
When Jeri feels insecure, she's like, but he looks like his dad. But he looks like his dad. It's like, fuck you. What if he didn't look like his dad at all? What if he just looks like you, Jeri? And he's perfect. He's fucking perfect. He is you.
Well, that's something I need to work on because I got some body issues.
Talk to Barb about it.
I know. Well, we got a list. Barbara's like, honestly, at my last session with her, she was like, you went through that? And I said, yes, Barbara. Are you surprised that this trauma pile just keeps going and going and going? We are still digging, my friend.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What else do we have? How have you handled like any parent-child healing in your journey of parenthood? Like we've all got shit with our parents, right? You know?
Well, yeah. And like I mentioned before, like I saw something the other day that was like, when I realized that my parents were also people with unresolved trauma, it changed everything. And that's very true for me because, like I said earlier, if you don't understand that you're in a toxic cycle, you are bound to continue it. And I don't think that we had all the pieces of the puzzle. And I know that it takes a lot of self-reflection to say like, hey, this is something I struggle with. This is something I don't like about myself. How do I make sure my kid doesn't have to do this? Because if you're saying that, then you have to say, I don't like all of me. And saying I don't like all of me, not super fun. So that's how people get into this cycle of being like, I'm a great person. What's wrong with me? This is how I was parented. I'm going to parent that way. And that doesn't always play out well. And I didn't know that there were things that I struggled with how I was parented and things that I experienced growing up. And until I started having trigger flashbacks as a mom. And I talk with my friend a lot about how we feel like we're almost parenting our inner child through our children.
Wow.
It's the most bizarre experience ever. I remember I was lying in Ollie's room with him one night. He was teething, so he was having some trouble going to bed, and he just wanted me to lay with him. And I could hear Shane in the kitchen, and it triggered me being in my bedroom as a kid, hearing my parents fighting.
Wow.
And they didn't know that I could hear them. And it's unrealistic to think that parents are never going to fight. But like, I remembered all of the things that I felt in that moment, all just from hearing Shane do the dishes. And I just thought like, I don't want my kid to ever hear that. I don't want them to be in their room afraid of what's going to happen, what's being said, what's going on. And so I started processing, like, how do I navigate that? How do I don't want to shelter him from it, but how do I do it in a healthy way? And I'm constantly finding myself in triggers, in aha moments, in, oh my gosh, young me hated that this happened. Young me caused big me to feel these things. And I remember Ollie was like trying to climb on a chair and he was pushing me off the chair and I was getting agitated. I had no patience. And I looked at him and I said, I'm going to need you to be patient. And again, I Mr. Feeney'd it. And I was like, then I'm going to need to be patient. If I want you to be patient.
Your inner voice is Mr. Feeney. Like, how do I channel that, Jeri? Where do I go?
Honestly, here's the thing. It's not just Mr. Feeney.
No, I want to be...
Sometimes I'm Alan.
With a little hint of Sean. I have a hint of Sean in me, and I hate to admit it.
I have hella Eric in me.
Ooh,
but
Eric,
I also have
Eric.
a little... I have a little Amy. I have a little Alan. I desperately want Shane to be Topanga. They do.
I'm not Topanga. Couldn't be me.
Shane is Topanga. I can't handle that.
Oh, Shane gives off big Topanga energy.
Oh, really? I love that phrase. So does Joe, though. Like that.
Yeah, very type A.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And we are. I am not.
No. I'm very Corey. I'm very stand up and be like, did you ever know that you're my hero?
The best episode.
That's
I just
very
watched
much
it and
me.
I honestly got goosebumps. I cried. Why? But I was like, I'm emotional.
I can't believe I'm friends with both of you. I'm best friends with both of you, and both of you are the same person in different scenarios.
And that's why we're soulmates who've never met.
Okay, Josh, do you have a Q&A for Jeri?
Okay, yeah, sorry.
She's like, I forgot we were doing a podcast.
I don't want to. Q&As are a lot of pressure because it's like I don't want to not answer someone's question.
Okay, I don't think this might be an issue for you. I don't know why, but just a question about maintaining friendships while you have young kids.
No, it's hard.
Like you're
it's
a social
for sure
person at nature, but talk to me about that.
But I'm not. What's funny is my sisters all the time would say, like, you don't have any friends. I have low maintenance friends. I am someone who needs to focus on what I need to focus on. I need to be able to step away from my friendships and handle my shit and know that I also don't need to tend to you. Like, I'm tending to my garden. I'm going to need you to tend to yours. I'm not your hoe.
So good. Keep going.
I'm my own hoe.
That was so good.
I am my own hoe. But yeah, I like being able to rely on people who know they can rely on me, because I have friends who I Marco Polo with frequently. Rachel and I are on Marco Polo almost every day. And I know that, like, hey, if I don't respond to you or you don't respond to me, like, we have shit going on, doesn't mean that I don't love you. Doesn't mean that I don't have your back. Doesn't mean that I don't support you. And I think, though, it's more investing in sustainable friendships.
Yeah, the friendships that grow with you and that get you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. That are going to, like, feed you and not, like, suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
Because we need each other at different times and for different things, but we shouldn't, like, be each other's life source, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I seek out, and I can only maintain friendships that understand that they're not my priority. Oh my God. There's someone who I became close friends with, like, recently, honestly, after we started the podcast. I went to school with her, but then we just reconnected recently. And she was on Marco Polo with me, and she was like, my family is more important than you.
Yeah.
Your family is more important than me. You do not need to talk to me, and I will not talk to you. And if I have a problem, I'll let you know. And I'm like, oh my God. Is this emotional maturity?
Yeah.
This is what mature friendships look like?
Yes.
Didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Is that you?
I couldn't see it real well
yeah.
my whole life,
Wow.
but can see clear
Yeah.
now. No, that speaks
It's
to me
amazing.
hugely right now in my life. So thank you. That's huge.
Do you feel like you had any, like, big friend breakups, or was it kind of just like,
Really?
Oh,
you don't have to talk about it. I know, like, there's some
Oh.
shit you don't
Oh,
want
I
on the
don't know.
internet
I don't-
forever, but, like,
It's
that was
deep.
Yeah.
One time I wrote, like, a 2-page letter, slid it under a door, and then, like, didn't speak to her for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes you just got to set the boundary and be like, yo, you want to preach ride or die? You riding or not? Because
Yeah.
here it is. This is where I'm at, and this is what I'm doing.
Oh, God. You riding or nah? Riding right now.
You're going to, like, bring out these notes. You're going to be like, Yesenia, I got a lot of good notes. And you're going to be like, so I wrote,
I'm
you're
just
riding
hearing
or
a lot
not?
of good things, and I'm so happy. Okay.
I have another one.
Okay.
This is a good one. How do you know where to settle with kids? Should you be close to family? Should you adventure first? What's your advice?
I think that goes back to figuring out who you are and what you want from life. If you are of the mind that there is this hole in you that only a child will fill, I will tell you that that's not true. If there's a hole in you, it's probably trauma, and you need to look at it and you need to get the root of it, because you should be a whole and complete person without, just like when you guys were talking about how you need to be okay being single, you need to be okay being childless. If you can
Wow.
feel
Yeah.
complete without a child, then a child just adds to it. I read this book called The Missing Piece in the Big O, which at first I was like, what a title, my gosh.
Yeah.
But the Big O is not what we think it is.
But what a draw in.
I know. It's an adult like cartoon book. And essentially it's this like triangle piece, and it's trying to find the place that it fits. And it just keeps like rolling and rolling. And eventually it rounds out all its corners, and it's just rolling, and it looks next and someone's rolling next to it. And it's like, we are two complete beings rolling together. We don't need each other, but we're happy we're together. And I think that that's how it should be with a kid. Like if you feel complete in yourself and with your partner, then a child just enhances that experience. A child will not fix it. So if you want to move, like part of Shane and I will always want to move. And we are getting to a point in our life where we're like, listen, there are planes, trains, cars, automobiles. You can visit us if you want. And so it's more about, where are you going to be your happiest? Where are you going to be your best? And the rest falls in place, because anything else, like I grew up wanting to be close to family because I grew up next to family. My kids don't know the difference.
Right.
If grandma visits them, that's all they know is normal. So like, don't feel obligated to redo your childhood because that's the only experience you know. Right. Your kids will know their experience. You get to be their safe space wherever that is.
Wow. That's huge. That's huge too.
Okay. I think do you have any more?
No, I'm good. I'm good on my
I feel like
road
we have
questions.
answered so
I'm
many
tapped
things.
out. My God.
We went 2 hours on this, John.
Yay.
So
We might have
know.
to split this baby up, but if not, fuck it.
It was so good, though. I feel like we were dropping knowledge. Jeri was dropping knowledge left and right, and we were just absorbing it like a fucking sponge. So, Jeri,
I hope.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a lot of stuff to unfold that you don't talk about regularly, or you do with these people, these other moms who come to your house and unleash everything.
Yeah.
But
Cry on my carpet.
yeah, but like, damn, like now I know, like, what a safe space with you, and seriously appreciate that a lot.
And
Thank
Jeri, I
you
want you to know,
guys.
because you made me cry at the beginning, you have blessed my life exponentially just by being in it. And I adore you and I admire you. And you will always be a person that I know I can count on. Even if we don't speak for 5 years, I will still run by my firstborn child's name by you. Jeri and I always run names by each other. Our podcast names, our business names. It's like, what do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Your opinion, your vision is so valuable to me. You will always be a treasured person in my life. And thank you so fucking much for being on our podcast.
Thank you. You really will be our best episode.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. If your first child's name is not IKEA, I'm really going to take offense to it. I need you to know that.
I'll do it.
So.
Josh wants to name our firstborn child Optimus, so I don't fucking care. Honestly, what does it fucking matter? They're gonna survive.
It's either that or it's Yahtzee. Those are the only options.
Yahtzee. I call Yahtzee. That one's mine.
Okay, Jeri. I'm just hoping that when we end this call, the video saves. Because if not,
We fucked.
we fucked. But Jeri, any parting words?
I really appreciate you guys for letting me come on here. And if anyone is offended by anything I said, so sorry. It wasn't for you.
It wasn't for you then.
Yeah,
We
not for
love
you.
you,
Okay.
Jeri.
I love you so much.
Yeah. And guys, go listen to Ladies and Tangents. Their
Oh, yeah,
podcast is
thanks.
amazing.
Fucking rocks.
I will be on it.
Yeah, Rich,
Next
come on. Next week.
So we're doing a
Tuesday.
little collab time. So we're excited about
Yeah.
it. I hope I provide as much input as you did for me. Now
I
the
know.
pressure's on.
He's dropping knowledge on us, Jer.
Bless up.
You go. I have all the faith.
All right.
We always don't know how to end. We're
We
so
don't know how to
awkward.
end.
So we're like, I love you.
Peace and
blessings.
Bye, Jer. We love you.
Jeri, we love you
Okay,
so
I
much.
love you guys.
Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being my soulmate,
Anytime.
Mr. Feeney.
Anytime. Class dismissed.
I love you all. Class dismissed.